Hi everyone, I'm Denise and this is Travels in My Chair. Today I'm lucky enough to be joined by my daughter Angela, who's going to be my hands and eyes while we make a carrot ginger steamed Christmas pudding. I'm so glad you're here to join us.
So Mom, how'd you come up with the recipe?
It was a combination of a book from the 40s, a recipe book from the 50s, my dad's old ginger pudding recipe, and mixed everything together and came up with my own. These are the ingredients that we're going to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it greased, and if you're using a steamed pudding mold, also butter up the middle part because you don't want that pudding to stick, right? If you are lucky enough to have a steamed pudding mold, you can use a Pyrex bowl or any kind of bowl that is going to be able to take the heat when it's submerged into the water. Butter it inside. You're going to pour your pudding in, cover it with parchment paper, tie it with a string, and then put tin foil over the top. Now you could use either an orange marmalade or a ginger marmalade to line your pudding pan. In this case, we're using Robertson's ginger marmalade. So Angela is taking the ginger marmalade and scooping some into the pan, and then she's going to smear it so that essentially when you turn the pan upside down after it's all cooked, that's going to be the top, not the bottom. And it's going to be a nice little glaze for the top of your pudding, give it a nice shine. So I've added the breadcrumbs to the milk with a few drops of vinegar to sour it up. And then we're just going to stir so that the breadcrumbs become moist. And we're going to set that all aside for now. Cream the butter and the sugar together. See why I've got Angela's helping hands, because it's really hard for me to do stuff single-handedly.
So Mom, not everyone likes steamed pudding, but it's a tradition, it's a family tradition that we, want to pass on, and it's always good with a little custard, hey?
Now Angela's just gonna put the creamed sugar and butter in with the soggy breadcrumbs and just give it a stir. And then we're going to add 1 egg, and Angela's going to drop in a ½ teaspoon of vanilla, and then she's going to give it a good whip with a fork. Put the egg mixture in with the soggy bread. Give it a good stir. And now we can start adding the other ingredients. We're putting in the chopped raisins, cranberries, apricots, and candied ginger. What we've used is ½ cup of raisins. The plumper the better. A nice golden raisin is beautiful, but sometimes you just can't get them. And then to make up 1/3 cup, you're going to add some dried cranberries. I also sometimes will put in finely chopped dried apricot and chopped candied ginger, and that to make 1/3 cup. All going to be added into the mixture. And now we're going to put in the grated carrot. You take the zest of 1 orange or a lemon if you prefer. Now Angela's taking that orange that we had previously zested, and she's just taking the juice out of it. Then we'll just dump it all with all the other ingredients. Angela is going to use a sifter, and she's going to sift in ½ cup of flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, ½ teaspoon of baking soda, and the spices. So 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, cinnamon, and the all-important ginger. And that's all going to be sifted in. Angela's going to just put everything into that buttered steamed pudding pan. And remember, it's the bottom of it is being lined with marmalade. After she gets everything poured into the steamed pudding mold, then she'll give it a good tap to make sure everything's settled. The pan is filled about half to, just, you don't want the water to sort of bubble up and go into the pudding bowl. And normally what I do is I will pre-cook it earlier on Christmas morning and cook it for about an hour bring it to a boil, then let it simmer. And then I can take it out of the pan, because we'll need this big pan for potatoes or something. And then while we're eating dinner, then I will do it for another half hour. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half. Take a skewer, take the pudding mold out of the pan, take a skewer, test it, make sure it's okay. And then we'll show you how we present it. And we also make it bird's custard. We make it runny so that it's a sauce, not a thick custard. And it's great. This is our steamed pudding. Not perfect, but it will be delicious. Thanks so much for joining Angela and I today as we made our Christmas pudding. It's a tradition. And this year more than ever, traditions are really important because we're not going to be spending time with our extended family. We're going to have a quiet Christmas. So let's make it as lovely as possible. Please, thumbs up if you like it. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for joining us. Bye now.
Bye. You want it moist.
Angela's favorite word of every word in the dictionary.
It's a horrible word.
Is moist.
Moist. She keeps saying it. Moist. Is it moist enough for you?
Oh, see how lovely that's looking? If you think it's too moist, add more breadcrumbs.
Moist.
Moist.